Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nutritional Revolution podcast. We have for you guys Martinus Evans. If you guys have ever heard of the Slow AF Run Club, then you know who I'm talking about. Martinus has run over 8 marathons since his doctor told him to lose weight or die. That is quotes in July of 2012. And since then, he has coached hundreds of other runners, founded the Slow AF Run Club, and which is a community of over 10,000 members worldwide. And he's also the author of a book, Slow AF Run Club, the ultimate guide for anybody who wants to run, which is coming out soon. We're going to talk about, well, actually it's coming, when you're listening, it's coming out today, right?
Yes.
All right. And when he's not running races around the world, he enjoys speaking passionately about issues related to size inclusivity, mindset, diversity, equity, inclusion, and mental health. So goodness, thank you so much for joining us, Martinus.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm pumped. So for our listeners, Martinus and I met at the Run Expo in Austin, Texas, and he shared his story with me and his book, and I got to read the early release of the first chapter of his book. And so I thought he would be a fantastic guest and have some knowledgeable nuggets to share with our listeners. But before we learn too much about you, we have to do 2 truths and a lie. So go ahead and share what you got for us.
All right. As I was telling before the mic was hot, I had the toughest time coming up with this because I wanted to make it interesting,
yes,
and captivating.
Perfect.
So I got it.
Can't wait.
Ready for this? All right. Here's statement number 1.
Okay.
I once ran around London looking for trickle pudding.
Looking for what?
Trickle pudding.
I don't even know what that is, but okay.
Statement 2. I once ran around New York City looking for the best pizza.
Ooh, okay.
And statement 3. I once ran around Chicago looking for the best pizza.
Ooh, okay. So Nia and I probably should start a running tally one of these days, but we're going to guess which one is the lie. I don't know what this pudding is that you're talking about in London. I don't know if it sounds good or bad. So I'm going to say that one, I'm guessing, is the lie. I feel like running for pizza sounds like a great idea. So what do you think, Nia?
I'm going to say the second one because I will say that Chicago has really good pizza and better than New York. So that's my reasoning for that.
All right. Well, don't tell us the answer yet, Martinus. We will reveal it at the end. But first, how did you, we gave a little bit away in our intro of you, but tell us a little bit about your history into endurance sports and kind of how you got to where you are.
Yeah. So in the intro, we kind of broke it off, but let me take you back.
Yes.
The year is 2012. Martinus is working at Men's Warehouse selling suits, commission sales. I am suited and booted every day. Hard bottom shoes. I'm there. But in result of wearing those hard bottom shoes every day, like I had some hip pain, which then lead me to go to a doctor. Thinking that my doctor's going to let me know that maybe it's a previous football injury or things of that sort. Before he even looked at my chart, he said, I know why you're in pain. Okay, why is that? It's because you're fat. What? Goodness. That's how you're going to abuse me today?
Yeah, that was his exact language.
Yeah, it was like, because you're fat. And he's like, you need to lose weight or you're going to die, man. And I'm still on like, who are you to tell me I'm fat? Like, who are you?
Yeah.
So sarcastically, I tell him, or just me just having a lot of talk back.
Yeah.
Said, screw you, doc. I'm going to run a marathon. He laughs at me. Ha ha. You run a marathon? That's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard in all of my years of practicing medicine. If you run a marathon, you're definitely going to die.
Oh. Wow.
So instead of hitting him like I wanted to, we're working on, living that nonviolent life. I was going out to the doctor's office. And as I was driving home, I seen a running shoe store and I made a U-turn and I went in there and I said, I need running shoes and I need them now.
Awesome.
And I bought running shoes. I stormed into the fitness center of my apartment complex where there were 3 treadmills and 2 people were already on one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I straddled that treadmill. I looked to my left. The guy was going like 10. Looked to my right. The guy was going like 9.5.
Wow.
I thought to myself, I can at least do 7. These guys are doing it. I can at least do 7. I type 7 on the treadmill. I get on the treadmill and I failed miserably.
Oh no.
I failed so bad that I literally fell off the treadmill.
Oh,
Couldn't last
no.
more than 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And that was my journey. I went home with tears in my face,
Mm-hmm.
thinking that the doctor was right. And I have this tattoo on my wrist.
Mm.
Y'all can see it. I have a tattoo on my wrist. So as I reached out for the doorknob, this tattoo says, "No struggle, no progress."
Mm.
It comes from a famous speech from Frederick Douglass.
Mm.
So as I'm reaching out, I see the tattoo. And I was like, okay, I know what I got to do. That's how I started running.
That's awesome. And if any of you guys are watching the YouTube version, there's quite the running shoe collection by Martinus right now. So I think he's probably got some favorites on the shoe rack behind you. So with that journey, you said that was in 2012?
2012, yeah.
Yeah. So what came from that? I mean, in that maybe year following that conversation with the doctor, did you run your first marathon?
Yeah. So I ran my first marathon of October 2013.
Okay.
The Detroit Marathon. I'm back in my hometown. And from there, I just kept going. You know,
That's
I did have some hurdles throughout my life and throughout that experience. So I ran my first marathon in October. In January, I had a very bad car accident that put me down for about 7 months.
Oh, wow.
And it really helped me. I think having that conversation, or not even having that conversation, having that car accident is one of the reasons why I have the views that I have now about being physically active for joy versus looking at it for weight loss. Because sitting down for 7 months, gaining back all of this weight that you've lost. And I remember driving home one day, and at that time I stayed in Connecticut. So like it's the first 50-degree weather day. Like that's usually where like people outside running. Yeah. They're barbecuing, and I'm driving and I see all of these folks running. And I'm looking at the car window like a little sad little puppy. And I remember making a promise to myself. And I remember saying to myself, if I'm able to run, if I can get past this injury and this car accident stuff, if I'm able to run, like I'm just going to run for fun. Yeah. I'm going to run it doesn't matter what weight I'm going to run at. I'm just going to continue to run, because when I lost this weight, I wasn't 100 pounds happier after I lost 100 pounds or wherever it was, right? What made my life be more fulfilled was the fact of being able to run and talk with people along the way.
That's awesome. So when you started your running training for this marathon, what did you right away get a coach? Did you just kind of try and go a little bit further each time you ran? What was that like?
So a coach, no coach, I could not hire a coach. No coach would train me.
Really?
No coach would train the 300-pound man back in 2012.
What?
No coach would train me.
That's bananas.
So I had to train myself. So I ended up getting a run coach certification.
Oh, good for you.
And picking up all the books I can find on running. Yeah. And teaching myself how to run and really train myself to run this marathon.
Wow. That's awesome. And you, I think you have a couple master's degrees, correct?
I have degrees like a thermometer.
You do. You do. Exercise science, health promotion, digital media. I mean, goodness. It's impressive. So I'm sure that helped as well with the programming, right? And maybe movement and all that stuff.
Absolutely. All of that helped out. But, I think the thing that really helped out was the most were getting out there and trying and failing. I learned a lot of stuff the hard way.
Yeah.
And it was painful.
Yeah.
It sucked. But it was something about that journey of being able to figure something out and that joy of like trying something the hardest and then like you actually get it, like that joy is uncomparable.
That's awesome. What were some of those struggles that you recall kind of overcoming or learning the hard way?
So one of the struggles that really stick out, and there's a bunch of them, is body glide, like body lube, right?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know there was even such a thing to put on your body to like prevent chafing.
Yeah.
So I was literally getting in showers and like screaming and yelling and like about to fight the air because I'm so chafed. Nobody told me.
Yeah.
So that was one thing, right?
Yeah.
Another thing, eating on the run. Nobody told me I had to eat. So I would literally be out on these runs fasting.
Oh, man.
And then there was a few times where I was running, like I remember the first time I ran like an hour and a half. And I remember just getting like dizzy and like woozy and like having to call my wife and be like, hey, can you come get me? Because I'm out of it. Like nobody told me that you need to be eating while running.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that's even like evolved significantly since 2012 for sure.
Yes.
Just fueling during sport.
Nobody told me.
Yeah. Yeah. If you look at like a lot of, goodness, some of like what the pros were doing, I mean, it wasn't very obvious either from like the viewer's standpoint. I don't think.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's changed. It's come a long way. So kind of now that you're fueling during your training runs and races, your body feeling a little bit better, the mind feeling a little bit more alert.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good. Good. And kind of with that initial, jumping back to that conversation with the doctor, I mean, you initially went in there for, you said hip and kind of foot pain, right? And then it was pain. So was there lab work or like was him saying, do this or die situation? I mean, was there elevated health markers from a lab perspective that he was concerned about? So he was just basing that off of, okay, interesting.
I walked in there and he was like, you got hip pain, huh? And I was like, yeah, I have some hip pain. Didn't touch me. I was just a new patient. And like literally, like as he turned around, he was like, I know why you in pain. It's because you fat. No, nothing. They ain't putting no hand on me. Ain't stretching my leg out. Nothing.
Oh, wow.
So I left that fucker. Like, sorry for cussing, but like I left him. And I never seen him again. Like, you go where you are celebrated.
Right.
Not where you tolerated. So I left, never seen him again, had to go see a different doctor. And luckily for that doctor, like that doctor gave me some physical therapy because it was like, hey,
good.
Like you got like hip bursitis or something of that sort. So I did do physical therapy.
Good. That's good. It's important to take care of your body and joints, of course, right? With your kind of running progression, aside obviously the car accident, I'm sure did some damage, but any running related kind of injuries, aches, pains that you dealt with along the way?
Nothing really exciting.
Yeah.
After the car accident, I did do some things that were kind of stupid.
Did you try and jump back too soon?
Yeah.
That's typical. I hear that all the time. So go-getters. You guys are a bunch of go-getters.
So after sitting down for 7 months, and got able to get cleared to run again, I jumped into like one of those like running challenges that's like run a mile a day from October, like what is it, from Halloween to New Year's.
Okay.
So at first I was starting off with just a mile. But then next thing you know, it was 3 miles a day.
Oh,
And then it went from
goodness.
3 miles a day to 5 miles a day,
Yeah.
to 5 miles a day to 10 miles a day.
Oh my goodness.
It was very stupid of me.
Get some overuse injuries going on there just a little bit.
And then, you know, from there, I ended up getting like some Achilles issue and I had to pull it on back.
Shoot.
And, you know, get that together. But
Mhm.
it was very stupid. Like I said, I learned a lot of things the hard way.
Yeah.
I figure, you know, I've been down for 7 months. My mind telling me, Martinus, you can do this.
Mhm.
Like, and then my mind telling me, well, doing a mile ain't enough. Like, you need to do more. Doing 5 miles a day ain't enough. You do 10. Next thing you know.
Yeah, that is something that I will say is so incredibly common. I feel like in the endurance athlete community, and I don't know what's in our brains, but we just have to challenge ourselves. And sometimes we're not very good at listening. Sometimes we're really great at listening to our bodies, and other times we're really not.
My body was giving all the warning signs, and I was not listening.
Just had to go.
Yes.
Yeah. Shoot. Were you able to obviously manage those injuries, give them some rest? Things are back in a good place now. That's good.
That was like years ago. That was more than 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay.
But it was one of the things of like just not listening to your body and not sticking to a plan. I didn't have a plan during that time. So, you know, I was like, hey, I'm just going to do this challenge. Cool. And if I would have stuck to the 1 mile a day, like the challenge prescribed, I would have been good.
Yeah.
But for some reason, my mind was like, no, you need to do 10 miles a day.
Yeah.
I was done.
Yeah. You got the hustle muscle, I call it. You got to go get after it. So kind of with your journey here, you mentioned kind of the initial starting point of getting into some training, doing your own programming. Did you have friends at the time that you were training with, or any runners that you would run with?
No, I did. For most of my running career, I ran by myself.
Okay. And I mean, I obviously read the first chapter of your book, so I know a little bit about what happens there in that marathon experience. Would you mind sharing that with us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So 2013, the day of my first marathon, I get out there, we're running, gun goes off. Bam! Martinus starts running. Martinus is so happy. He's jumping for joy. He's talking to all types of people. He's giving high fives. He's just enjoying this first marathon. Then somewhere around mile 19, mile 20, I come in contact with this guy. He's like slowing down, thinking he's about to quit. I go next to him and I say, hey, brother, you got this. Keep going. Because that's what people have been telling me all day. Like, you got this, keep going. He was like, I don't want to hear none of that. He's like, I am done. He's like, I see what you're trying to do here.
Yeah.
I see what you're trying to do, Martinus, but I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. So then he wags down the SAG vehicle, or like what we call like support and gear vehicle. So he gets in the car, or like the little bus drives off. I continue running. And then this bus pulls next to me after a few miles down, and he's like, hey, big man, like, you want to ride? Like, your friend over here? No, I'm good. Like, and I thought it was just nothing. Like, I'm just brushing it off. And then like mile after mile after mile, like this bus just kept coming and being like, hey man, you want to get in this ride? Like, I'll take you to the finish line. It's almost like taunting me. Like, you need to quit. And then as we are like maybe a mile away from the finish line, a mile and a half, I remember just blowing up and just being like, I'm almost at the finish line. Like, why would you ask me this? And we're going back and forth, and him being like, well, I can't help you fat and slow. I'm just trying to help your ass out. I was like, what?
Wow.
So I crossed the finish line. I seen the bus again. We had this stare off, and then I just went my way, and Yeah, as a back of a pack runner, those are some of the things that I've experienced. And
Mm-hmm.
that was my first time experiencing it, but it showed will not be my last.
Yeah. Shoot. Yeah. I think it's important we share these things. And I also think this kind of transfers a little bit to probably into maybe you building and starting the Slow AF Run Club, maybe.
Absolutely. So after having all of these years of experiencing this stuff, um, actually, let me take a step back. One of the reasons why I started the Slow AF Run Club, like at first, there was necessarily no inkling of this.
Mm-hmm.
Slow AF Run Club came from somebody else heckling me at a race.
Oh.
So I'm at another race. I can't remember what race I was running, but like I'm on this straightaway by myself, and like there's this guy fucking drunk. Because
Oh, geez.
people who are like running races, especially like these larger like world major races like
Mm-hmm.
Boston and New York, like got like 40, 50,000 people running this race. There's tons of people there, family members and things of that sort.
Yeah.
And like this drunk dude, I remember I had my headphones in, I'm jamming, and I see
Mm-hmm.
like this guy like yelling at me.
Hmm.
So I remember like taking my headphones off and being like, what? And he's like, you're slow. Go home. You're
Oh, boy.
slow as fuck, man. Go home. You shouldn't even be out here. And so like I'm confused because like I got my headphones in, I take them out. I'm like, what? And all I hear is you slow as fuck. Go home.
Wow.
Go home. You slow. And I remember being like, I'm the slow one, but you the one that's on the sideline drinking.
Yeah.
And I should go home.
Yeah.
And like, you take your ass home. So we get in this back and forth, but and I continue to run. And just like anything else in my life, like I had this thing of like, I need to get back at him, like in a way that like it's gonna last a long time than me just being helped with this race.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to wear shirts that had Slow AF across the chest, like as a big middle finger to him. Like I'm running all these races and people are like, find it funny. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm Slow AF too. Like, where did you find that shirt? Where can I get one? Things of that sort. And I wasn't selling these shirts. And then after I kept running race after race, people's like, hey man, like I want to buy the shirt. Like, where can I find one at? So eventually I put out a pre-order. I started selling the shirts, launched the shirts. I sold 500 of those shirts.
Wow.
500 shirts that just said Slow AF across the chest. And then from there, people started to ask me, hey, you have like a community? Like I want to meet other people who have bought these Slow AF shirts, who like believe in this mission. And that's where the Slow AF Run Club kind of grew from. Like it grew from somebody heckling me to me wearing this Slow AF shirt. And then from there, to me creating this community and
That's
just really
awesome.
growing from there. And then I started the community, and then the pandemic happened. And from there, the community blew up.
Wow.
Because, everybody's at home. Everybody think they slow. Races being canceled. And, we were doing virtual racing. We was doing all types of Zoom calls. Like we were just really making like a bomb community.
Amazing.
And people were just so excited about that. And next thing you know, we got 10,000 people.
Wow. I love that. I love it. You took the high road and you used his heckling as he gave you a business name essentially.
I'm tired of taking the high road. Like,
yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's a story with a kind of, a good ending. I feel like, well, it's not even the ending, but it's a good, you were able to take that and turn it into something amazing, which is really kudos to you for having that mental willpower to do that too. I think that's impressive. So
thank you.
Yeah. So with the Slow AF Run Club, tell us kind of more about that. How do people join? What virtual races, or are there virtual races coming up? Like what can people expect from like getting involved in that community?
Man. What you can expect from joining the Slow AF Run Club is love. Once you get in there, you feel the love.
Oh,
A bunch of other people from the back of the pack who have either experienced the things you went through or are going through it now, and validating what you went through to say, we've have experienced that and you're still a running because of that.
yeah.
We have like different training plans for sale. We do
Awesome.
these weekly workouts where we have a certified personal trainer come up there and do live workouts. We have
Cool.
nutritional sessions, and all of
Amazing.
this happen right inside your phone. So
So
everybody, you can go download the Slow AF Run Club app on iOS and Android, and like we have everything there. And then
Awesome.
one of the goals that we have for this year is to allow members to apply to open their own local Slow AF Run Club.
Cool.
So like we're starting to get that process together where we're getting Slow AF Run Club chapters together.
Amazing.
And like, there's a somewhat of a pledging period to like get that going. So we're working through that now.
That's
And
great.
then there's going to be a lot of meetups with the upcoming book launch.
Yes. Yeah. So with the chapters, that's people in the local communities can gather together and run or do these training sessions together and
Yes.
stuff too. Yeah.
So those are the things that we're working on now, is that a lot of people want to get out and run. A lot of people want to take what their relationships are in the virtual world and then bring it into the real world. So those are some of the things we're going to do. So,
Awesome.
just like Black Girls Run or Black Men Run or even November Project,
Mm-hmm.
in the next year or so, like you'll have a Slow AF Run Club chapter in a city near you.
That's awesome. With the training plans and stuff you sell or through the just Slow AF Run Club group, do you specifically kind of like hone in on certain races that you try and get a good chunk of the community to go to together? Or is it kind of just everybody's giving input of different races they're signed up for?
It's a mixture of stuff. So, since it was virtual, we necessarily didn't have to worry about a race, but now, those are things that we're planning through now, right?
Yeah.
Right now, just say, hey, you want to run a 5K, you can download, the app and buy a training plan that'll walk you through that. I would say one of the cool things about our training plans is that, I wrote them all. But also, since I wrote them all, I thought about all the things that I struggle with going through like a Couch to 5K. So for example, most Couch to 5K programs end at a 30-minute run. So it's like, congratulations, run 30 minutes. You can now run a 5K. And last time I checked, if you do the math, that means you got to run a little bit under a 10-minute mile.
Yeah.
That's not accessible to everybody.
Right.
So one of the things that I did upon myself was do the math so that every training plan assumes that somebody's running at minimum 18-minute mile.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. And with kind of races for you, what's coming up on the calendar for you this year?
Oh man, I think the biggest race that I have is the Slow AF Run Club book tour. That's going to be a mean race.
Goodness.
But other than that, I have Chicago on the calendar, the BAA 5K. I'm doing that, and there's a few other races I got invited to run that we're still solidifying. But
cool.
I would say the main that I'm working on this year is Chicago.
Awesome. And still kind of from that initial first marathon to now, is your goal to just do these things for fun? Or are you looking to do any PRs in any of your races? Or
at this point, I'm just trying to have fun.
Amazing. I love it.
I should start making hats that say "Make running fun again."
Yeah. It is. I mean, people have gotten obviously very serious, and intense, right? Focus on certain endurance sports. And yeah, we've talked to many kind of like even pro level, and, some of them drop out because they're not doing it for fun anymore, it's turns into something else.
And that's the thing, is that I want to be able to do this for the rest of my life. And the only way to really do that is to have fun with it. Like when you start thinking about PRs and all this other stuff, I don't become a fun person. My wife does not like Marathon Martinez. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And she's like, Marathon Martinez is around, I don't want to be around.
Oh,
so,
shoot.
Because that's the thing, like it takes up all your life as ever encompassing.
Yeah.
And my wife does not like Marathon Martinez.
Shoot. Well, at least you found an alternate to Marathon Martinez. Fun Marathon Martinez.
Exactly.
And then I told you at the expo in Texas, we eventually got to get you on a bike, I think. So if your wife allows you to do a second sport, we'll get you on a bike one day and you will get to go on bike rides together. That's great. I love that. I think, making it fun, I think, is a huge piece of it. And even with talking about getting people newly into sport and feeling accepted in a type of sport too, is, finding something that you do enjoy. Right. And I heard someone say something before, and I totally forget who said it, but they said to have like 3 hobbies, and have a hobby that like keeps you healthy, have a hobby that obviously is a source of income, and then there was a third hobby that you're supposed to have. And I feel like it had to do with like art or something like that, or some form of art. But I always think about that. And, it doesn't have to be a sport necessarily to keep you healthy. It could be maybe you, I don't know, like cooking a certain type of food or something. But I think that's a big piece of it, is like, it might not always be a hobby if you're an enjoyable hobby, at least, right? If you're pushing it to the extremes and it's something that you're not necessarily always enjoying, or you're just driving your body into the ground, like you're saying, and it's not realistic to maintain into your older age, which is, we all want to be able to get up off the toilet, I think, when we're older. So got to keep those joints and everything healthy. So with the book, can you tell us, obviously, when this episode comes out, if the book is live as of today, but people can get that
wherever books are sold. So for the people who are on the YouTube, Slow AF Run Club, the ultimate guide for anybody who wants to run.
Perfect.
Available June 6th. Available for
Excellent.
pre-order now if this comes out before June 6th.
Perfect. And so we have your upcoming races. We got access. People can download the Slow AF Run Club app and get plans on there. And then, is there a Facebook group as well for the Slow AF Run Club?
Nope, it's all in the app. So the app has its own community.
Awesome. All right. And I think we need to go over your 2 truths and a lie.
Okay.
So you said you once ran around London looking for some fancy pudding.
Trickle pudding.
I need to Google this after. Or you ran around New York City looking for the best pizza. Or you ran around Chicago looking for the best pizza. I think London was a lie. Nia said New York. Go ahead and let us know, Martinus, what was the lie?
Chicago was a lie.
Oh, Nia and I were both wrong. How could this be? Oh my goodness. Okay, can you tell us what this trickle pudding is?
Oh my God. So like trickle pudding is like this old timey dessert that's like in London. And I remember when I first went to London, and I was telling a friend, like, what is one thing I need to get in London? And they was like, oh, like go get some trickle pudding. He's like, you'll find that at a proper pub or something like that.
Huh.
And we ran around London trying to find this trickle pudding. It's almost like so trickle is like, first let's start with trickle. Trickle is like this syrupy type of thing. Huh. Think a pound cake, like a miniature baby pound cake, like a little bundt cake.
Yeah.
And it's like this syrup, gingery type of thing that goes over the top of it. Sometimes they have nuts, sometimes they don't.
Okay.
Probably messing it up, but like that's what trickle is. Or like
Okay.
trickle pudding. Yes.
We'll link a Google image in the show notes. So you were able to find it?
No.
Oh, oh no.
We went to like 10 pubs
Oh
looking for
man.
trickle pudding. And then somebody was like, we have sticky toffee pudding instead.
Huh.
And
Interesting.
I was like, is that close to trickle pudding? And he's like, sort of. So
Huh.
I had to just, because we went to like 8 pubs like during that whole week. And I'm like, can't find it. So
Yeah.
we did sticky toffee pudding instead.
There you go. Was that good?
It was very amazing.
Okay, good. That's good to know. Some of our listeners, I'm sure we do have a good amount of people, I think, in Europe right now when we were looking at our analytics. So we're probably having some people from London yelling at the podcast right now of where to get trickle pudding. And then the pizza in New York, have you found a good spot?
Yes. So there is a spot in Brooklyn called Cuts and Slices.
Okay.
They have this exotic pizza. Like,
Mm.
oh my God, I'm drooling thinking about it. So they have this pizza that's called sweet chili oxtail pizza.
Huh. Wow.
To die for.
Wow.
So good.
That sounds good.
Yes.
Sweet chili oxtail. Huh.
Yes.
I definitely have never had oxtail in a pizza. That's for sure.
It's amazing.
That's good. Good to know. We'll check it out. We'll have to tag them in the show notes or on the socials. So with your book that comes out today, what are some things that you hit on in the book for our listeners to kind of get a gauge on what they would expect?
Absolutely. So if you're looking for a book that's going to teach you how to be fast and tell you to lose weight, this ain't the book for you. But if you're looking for a book that you can read that's going to have some amazing stories to be told and lessons learned, and advice, pretty much like think of it as a good friend telling you all the things that they did wrong in running, and here's how you can do it right.
Yeah.
This is the book for you.
That's awesome.
So every book starts off with a cautionary tale, something that has happened to me in all of my years of running. And then I end that cautionary tale of telling you how to overcome that. And then we go into actual lessons and teaching people. And, there's some workbook stuff in there. And, we usually answer like all types of frequent asked questions about running inside the book as well.
Awesome. That's great. I love that. And with this book journey, did you, through this process where you're like, hey, people are asking me a lot of questions. I want to put it all in a book. And then that started to come together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I'm doing one-on-one run coaching, I started to get the same questions over and over again. And I just felt like every call, like I hop from one call to another, answering the same questions over and over again. And I was like, you know what? I need to write a book so I can just give them to them. Say, hey, read page 12.
Yeah.
Like, let's make these meetings more efficient. And that's where it kind of came from, is to answer some of those questions that I mainly got over and over again.
Yeah.
As I was doing one-on-one running coaching.
That's awesome. I understand that completely. I have days like that too, where we get clients and get a lot of those kind of like Google questions, I feel like, or social media questions and stuff like that. So to just have one place to direct people to, I think that makes it easy. And it's all sound advice, and either it's experience-based or you have your science behind it. I think that's always helpful for many people to get that true information instead of the social media influencer information on certain topics. Definitely when it comes to the sports science world, we see get a lot of funny questions, but no questions are bad questions. They're always good questions to kind of break them all down for people and give them a good solid answer. So this is awesome. If you guys are curious of checking out Martinus, Slow AF Run Club, his book, we will link everything in the show notes for you guys. And if you guys are checking this out on the Instagrams or the YouTubes, we'll put it all in the notes below. So thank you again so much for joining us, Martinus. This has been fantastic.
Thank you for having me.